filed this one under you never know what other people are dealing with. I was at the gas station and pumping my gas, and this woman that works there comes out, and she looks a little ragged or something, but she's like trying to help me with the gas. And then she said, I'm quitting my job in 3 days, because she's frustrated. And then she's like, I'm going through chemo, and it just started this whole conversation where she's younger than me. I'm sure she was. She looked like she's in her 30s. I'm 47. And she said, my mom had breast cancer, died when she was 38, and I was 11, and my sister, my grandma, my great-grandma, and she had a lumpectomy and was wishing that she had had a mastectomy at this point. But she's 19 years remission with the breast cancer, and now she has a diagnosis of stomach cancer. And so she had hair down to her butt that she just cut yesterday, and you know, she cut it to about my length just to ease the transition of when you lose your hair from chemo. It's so, you know, it's so like, it's strange because it just kind of comes out in clumps. It doesn't all like come out at once. And this whole process of it coming out in clumps is very, you know, it's uncomfortable. It's not a great feeling. So anyway, she did that, and I told her, I'm like, yeah, I went through breast reconstruction, but had a total nightmare process and just decided to take them out, and now I don't have breasts. And I asked her why she didn't have a mastectomy in the first place, and she's like, yeah, I was just too attached. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, totally get it. So what a wonderful human moment to have with somebody at the gas station, where we're sitting there talking, you know, like the card reader wasn't reading my card, and that's how it started. And you know, I would have never guessed looking at her. She's younger than me. She's 19 years. Jesus, if she's in her 30s. I don't know when she was diagnosed, but 19 years remission, and then now she has stomach cancer, and she had 1 round of chemo. So I don't know. I just sometimes it's so great to realize, like, we just never know what anyone's dealing with. So I went to an endoscopy doctor appointment yesterday, and it was okay. I mean, he of course wants to do an endoscopy, and gave me the information for it, and I told him I would take it and read it and think about it. And apparently, like, my options are, it's because I have that trouble swallowing, so things get stuck in my chest a little bit, and I don't think that ever happened before in my life. I don't recall that. Gotta sneeze. So there's another procedure. Oh, it's an x-ray with barium, and barium doesn't sound good. And I asked him, but that's basically my other option. And he said, if getting an endoscopy is like a 10 on a 1 to 10 in terms of like how good the images are and what he would recommend, having the chest x-ray with barium is about a 5, and then anything else is about a 0 or a 1. Doing nothing is a 0, and then a PET scan, which I'm thinking about doing since it's been, I think since 2019, since I've had one. It has been since 2019, I think summer of 2019, so it's been over 2 years. PET scan, he said, is really like no good to him. And even the chest CT that I had at the beginning of this year is really of no use to him. So I left with like, I'm gonna think about it, and if things feel, he said he didn't have any concern. I don't know what he's basing that on, that there was a cancerous problem. I think part of it, he said, was like breast cancer doesn't metastasize to the esophagus, so he's not worried about that. But he said we could always put a balloon in there and expand it and make you more comfortable. And I'm like, I don't need a procedure to make me more comfortable, so that when I swallow 4 pills, or sometimes water, liquid, it doesn't get stuck. At least at this point. If it got worse, I'd definitely think about it, but at this point, I can't see myself doing that. So, yeah, it's just something to sit with. The PET scan, my medical oncologist said he'd do that for me at any point. Occasionally my brain feels a little bit weird, and, you know, I like the idea of just sort of my whole body being scanned. We haven't really done anything in my, like, lower extremities, like in the reproductive area. I got my ovaries out, but I like the idea of just kind of getting a scan because it's been so long. Mostly my head is like at times feels a little bit like there's something off, you know. And so, but the thing that I don't understand is I was looking, I think I did a Google search and it said that a PET scan can detect metabolic, what's the word, I don't know, metabolic uptake, I guess is the word, in the brain. But then when I looked at the image that I had from when I had a PET CT, the first one, which was in 2017, it shows just like a big old blob in the brain, you know, in the head, because it couldn't read the brain. And it also, like, the bladder, the heart, and the brain, I think, are 2 or 3 areas that I thought that a PET CT couldn't measure because there's movement there, you know, there's something like that. It just couldn't measure it. And so I don't understand. Now I have to do a little bit more research and see if a PET will actually reveal anything in the head, because if it won't, then I don't know if I'm going to do that. I might just do a brain MRI, which I did in 2018. I mean, it's a long time ago at this point. But that is one of the places that breast cancer meds goes to. So, and I was talking to the doctor at Mederi some months ago, and she's like, you know, when I've seen someone have brain mets from breast cancer, they like, she said one story, like this woman was driving, which I'm driving right now, and she just kind of like lost it, you know, or was it that, or maybe she was walking in the store and she collapsed in the middle of the store. Like, it's something pretty severe, but I wonder, would there be little indications before that? And I can't really describe what I feel in my brain, but it's similar to when I had a blood transfusion, which I only had once. I mean, I get platelet and IVIG transfusions, but that's different. I did have to have hemoglobin blood transfusion because my blood went so low before I got an oophorectomy and was losing just huge amounts of blood. And I could feel, it sounds weird, but I could feel other blood in me. I felt like there was somebody or something in me, and it was kind of going in my head and like swirling around. And it's a little bit like that, what I feel. I feel this kind of like swirling thing in my head. So yeah, I mean, welcome to the world of a post-cancer diagnosis where it's really easy to be concerned about all the different feelings and all the different sensations that come up. So anyway, I'm just trying to decide, like, what should I do in terms of imaging, if anything, because like the endoscopy, I'm not like chasing down more imaging. He's like, oh, you know, it's twilight sedation, it's fentanyl or Versed, and no big deal. And I'm like, it's all a big deal, you know? They don't really, I know they're just trying to assuage one's concern, but no, it actually is a big deal, especially when you've gone through really like intense and traumatizing experiences. And it's not, I'm not being dramatic when I say that, you know, it was traumatizing experiences that I went through. So even something that's minor is a big deal. So at least emotionally and mentally, it's a big deal. Whether or not physically it is different. So yeah, that's about it for now. I do have another appointment coming up in December with another hematologist, a new one at UC Davis, and just for him to talk to me about like what my options might be. I'm going to ask him if I can spread out my IVIG transfusions, because I've been getting them every 4 weeks, 3.5 to 4 weeks. And because my numbers were a little bit higher last time, we thought that maybe I could stretch out when I get the infusion and see if they're like maintaining on their own, because I wouldn't know if I'm getting a transfusion. Maybe they're starting to maintain a little bit, which would be incredible. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then I have a follow-up with a doctor local to me who gave me those like 2 urine tests and the hair mineral analysis. Well, her office called me and said kind of like getting over a cold. Her office called me and said that my vitamin C was like abnormally high, and did I take huge amounts of vitamin C on the day that I did the urine test? And I'm like, not any more than you would have told me to do. I don't know if I feel good right now. Anyway, I'm like heading over to some friends, and it's quite a drive, so I don't know if I'm just like debating, is it worth it? So yeah, anyway, so like I take between 2 and 4 grams of vitamin C a day, and like some people take 500 milligrams or 1,000 milligrams, 1 gram, but she wants me taking it like, you know, a lot. So I said I wouldn't have taken more than that. So she wanted me to get a mycotoxicity test because she thought there could be mold in the environment, and that can sometimes, I guess, make for a high vitamin C read. And I was like gonna go do it, went to her office to pick it up. The test was $300, and I've already spent, okay, we're stopped. I already spent like $1,000 or something on my visit with her. Maybe more than that, actually. Maybe more than $1,000, which I had to put on a credit card. So yeah, we're stopped for construction. So I'm just not quick to like go do another $300 test to see if I have mold, and that's why my vitamin C is high. So I'll see her. I have those 2 doctor's appointments next week. It'll be another $300 to see her for an hour. It's a lot, you know. It's just so pricey dealing with all the alternative and non-insurance covered doctor visits and treatments and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see. I'll have an update after that probably.